Hello, it's Debbie from Create Pretty Things and Check Pretty Things. Hello, let's get this weekend started. Okay, baseball season's here, and some of my favorite things to do is to wear a cool baseball shirt just to feel like I belong. I belong to that baseball game. It kind of gets me in the mood, and it kind of creates a festive atmosphere. So today we're going to create this, we're going to decorate this shirt. It's kind of a baseball themed shirt. And we're going to put this cute Peanuts themed transfer on it. It's got little Woodstock, a baseball, and the words Peanuts, and then baseball, sportswear at the bottom. So we're going to get started by using one of our ink mats. We're going to put this ink mat inside our t-shirt to prevent it from going through to the backside. As you jump on, say hello, tell me where you're watching from, and if you want the supply list, comment the word baseball. If you can see the red button at the top, I am live. If you don't, you're watching a replay, so go ahead and comment #replay so that I know that you watched. This is one of our ink mats. Now, you don't have to have an ink mat, but they do work really well. It does have a protective backer on it. It is sticky, so it is a sticky ink mat. So it is nice because it will stick right inside your t-shirt and prevent that shirt from moving around inside when you go to chalk. So your transfer sticky on the top, it'll stay in place, and this ink mat is sticky on the top. It will also prevent it from moving, prevents bleed through. If you don't have one of these, you may have a Cricut mat. You know the Cricut cutting machine, how when you cut vinyl, you will put it on a mat and it'll be sticky. You can use one of those, or you can just use a piece of cardboard if you so choose. Now make sure you get that sticky mat right where you want it. I've got my heat press over here heating up. So we're going to be using ink today. Ink is the permanent version of paste. It comes in the same colors just about. Paste obviously has more colors available than the ink, but you can pretty much get your favorite colors in the ink as well. Let's get this configured. So because it is sticky, you want to make sure that you put it down right where you want it, and that can be a little tricky. So I want this to go right, the design's going to line up with my armpits basically. But I want it to be centered. And that's not going to be it. So center this. Because our transfer is going to be centered right on top of this. Okay? So we want it to be straight. We want it to be lined up properly. And this is the 9x12 ink mat. They do come in different sizes. I have some of all the sizes, and oftentimes I will cut them down to size if they're too big, depending on the project that I'm using them on. So I want this to be on here without any wrinkles, without any puckers. And I want it to be on here straight and smooth. Okay, I think I've got it. Just about centered. Maybe I'll measure it just for kicks, because I know it'll never be perfect. Needs to go over one side a little bit more. And really, my ink mat doesn't have to be perfectly centered, but my transfer does. So, sorry this is taking so long. I just want to make sure I have a good start to getting this straight and a good foundation. It helps a lot when you get going. So this is probably going to be the longest part of your whole project here. It's just lining this up. So here's the edge of this one, and it's about 6. It's way, 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 way off. So I'm going to use my tag as my guide for the center. getting closer, guys, getting closer. Tell me what you guys have got planned for the weekend. Tomorrow is Saturday, and it's summer. So I'm sure you guys all have a whole bunch of fun plans going on. I know I've got, oh no, tomorrow is Friday. Today's only Thursday. You guys, I get my days mixed up sometimes. Do you guys ever get your days mixed up? I don't have to set an alarm anymore, so it kind of, it's very nice for me. I always had a hard time with alarms. So when I have to set an alarm and it goes off, it kind of startles me anymore. I'm just not used to them anymore. Okay, we got it centered. We got it smooth. We've got it stuck down. Time to get our transfer. Now, our transfer is sticky on the back as well. We're gonna peel it off the backer. Keep your backer because you need to store it on there. Woo. Now, I don't have to fuzz this because it's going on fabric, and we want it to be really sticky so that it stays in place. I'm gonna line this up with the tag. Figure my tag is probably pretty well centered to my shirt. And this looks good. Okay, so now my theme. I've got yellow, red, and black. I'm gonna do yellow for little Woodstock, red for the little lines on the ball, maybe red for sportswear, and the rest will be black. So let's get started on the lines on the ball. This is ink, and it is permanent when it's heat set. I'm just gonna go ahead and do these red lines right on the inside. So it doesn't take very much. Take your time with ink. It doesn't dry as fast as the paste. So you can take your time. Remember that it's permanent, so if you get it on your clothes or anything else outside of where you want it, when it's heat set, it will be permanent. If you get a chance to work on something before it's heat set, you may have a chance of doctoring it up a little bit, but I wouldn't count on it being perfect. Just maybe a little bit removed. I do have some extra red up here. I'm going to take it. I'm kind of frugal with my paste and my ink. I like to take where there's an overabundance and spread it around to places where there is not an abundance. What you have left over, I'm going to put back in the jar, and then I'm going to cap it up and be done. I'm done with the red. Okay, let's do little Woodstock next. Woodstock's going to be yellow. I'm going to do bumblebee yellow. If you don't want it quite that bright, you could use, you could mix your own color, actually. You can mix your own color. Okay, this is pretty. Look how bright that is. So I'm just going to go ahead, you know, I might want to do Woodstock black and then color in afterwards. Let's try that. So all the rest of this I'm going to do black, and then I'll color in Woodstock at the end. We get another squeegee. So I'm just going to go ahead and do everything else black. And you'll see where I'm going with this in just a minute. That's my heat press heating up, if you can hear it beeping. It's ready because I'm going to heat press as soon as I can and make the ink permanent. And then we'll go on. Okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and smooth on this black all over this transfer. Cover in any lines you have. So anything that's white right now is the silkscreen holes. It's a mesh, and that's what's going to allow the paste to go through the silkscreen onto your design below, and that is what creates the design. So if you'll notice, when I was debating about doing Woodstock yellow, I noticed that he has an outline. The silkscreen is outlined. So that means that if I used yellow, just the outline would be yellow. And I started thinking about that, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted the inside of his body to be yellow. Well, the inside of his body right now is part of the teal transfer, so that means that the paste would not go through. Okay, so I'm done with the black. I'm going to cap this up. We're going to remove it and take a look at it. Okay, I'm making sure there's no ink on my hands. I'm going to go ahead and peel this down. I'll try to do this so you guys can see it without me messing it up. It looks awesome! I'll clean this up in just a second. Wow, guys, it looks really, really good. I'm just gonna go ahead and dry it real quick, and you're really not supposed to dry it with the heat mat under there, but I am, because I'm gonna go ahead and need that heat mat under there when I color in woodstock with the yellow. So I'm gonna heat it up a little bit, dry it up. Especially woodstock is. My granddaughter calls them wood snacks. So if you hear me call woodstock wood snack, that is why he is known as wood snack in our household. And he is one of her favorite characters. You can tell when it's dry when it's no longer tacky. And it's also going to have some dry time when I'm painting this in. Now, you can paint with your ink and your paste. I'm going to go ahead and use a paintbrush for this. Maybe a couple paintbrushes. Let's see. Let's see what I'm doing here. So I've got the yellow, and you can thin this down a little bit if you want. I'm going to use it full strength though. And I'm just going to try. I might want some smaller brushes too. I'm going to try just to get inside the lines. Now, if I happen to cover up some of the black, which is a very good possibility, I can lay my transfer back over when I'm done and bring back those black details by inking over it again. But if I can skip that step, I would like to skip that step. Just makes it a little quicker for me. Now his neck is a little bit thinner than the rest of his body. So I'm going to get a thinner paintbrush. And just kind of paint in on his neck and his body and his legs. I'm not sure if that's his tail or if that's a baseball bat. I think that's his tail. I'm going to make it his tail. Now I did a pretty good job of not covering the black. I might go ahead and put that transfer back over one more time though. I can't decide whether that's the baseball bat or not. And so I'm just kind of going over it to rub out some of these brush strokes, make them a little more even. But he actually looks pretty darn good. Yeah, I don't know whether I have to go over them again. I don't think I really do. Let's see, maybe I'll color in his bat. Let's see what other color inks I have. I'm going to use this Storm color to color in this bat just a little bit. Okay, so this is Storm, and it's more of a gray color. Well, I'm not going to need very much, just a little bit for his bat. Now, if you do water this down just a little bit, I think you'll get a better texture. Like this is going to be a little bit thicker. But I don't know. Maybe I should have made this bottom part of the bat. Let's see, is this the one I was using? I think I will make this part of the bat. Okay. All right, now we need to dry it up. So because we are going to heat set it, we need to dry that completely. My heat press did go off. I'm going to go ahead and heat it up to 305. I'm going to try it for 30 seconds right now just because, oops, let's turn that off, and temperature 305. Okay, so I'm going to dry this up before we heat press it. Now because this ink is a little bit thicker while I painted it in, it may take us just a little bit longer to dry this. And this heat tool isn't very hot, so I feel okay using it with the ink mat under, but if you have anything that's hotter than this, I would remove that ink mat before you dried it. What's on the agenda? You guys enjoying the warm weather lately? I hope you guys all have nice, beautiful weather where you are. Here, it's hot, but it's not as hot as it could be, so we're enjoying it. Seems like I've got some stuff to do outside, so I do go outside, but it is warm. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and set this aside for just a second. I want to clean my transfer. So when you clean your transfer, I just go ahead and spray it with some water. Mine is distilled water in this bottle, but you don't have to use distilled to clean your transfer. You can use anything you want. So I wet it down, and I do try to clean it as soon as I can because it makes the job easier. So I'm going to wipe off that first layer with a paper towel, and you can see there's quite a bit left on there. It may take a couple passes. But the reason I'm doing the paper towel first is because I can use a board eraser, and that's my tool of choice. But since it is black, it does tend to blacken my board eraser and make it look pretty dirty. So I just kind of try and take that first preemptive step to get most of this black off. Okay, so now I have my board eraser, and it's been sitting in water, fresh water. It's not been sitting overnight or anything, but it is damp. So I'm just going to use it. This is what it looks like. It looks like a magic eraser sponge. And the difference between a magic eraser sponge and this board eraser is that this doesn't have any chemicals in it. Now these transfers are reusable between 8-12 times. The key to reusing them is taking good care of them. And the first step to that is cleaning them properly. So there's a couple other steps. One would be to fuzz it for your selected surface. If you're putting it on wood or anything like glass, it's really, really smooth. It's going to stick so well to that when you pull it off, it's going to stretch. You don't want that because you want it to be in the same shape it is now as it is later when you're doing another pass for a different transfer, a different project. So you want to fuzz this a couple times before you use it, and that's just reducing the stickiness of it a little bit. Now we do want it to remain sticky, so I'm going over this just lightly with my board eraser, trying to get the paste out of the silkscreen. So getting the paste out of the silkscreen is key. You want it to be clean. So I'm going to go over the front again with my board eraser. The front I can scrub a little harder if I need to. And just know that this will, the black and the highly pigmented colors, the blue, the red, might stain the teal part of the transfer. And that's okay, as long as you get all that paste and dirty water out of the silkscreen areas. So this one actually looks like it's got black in the silkscreen areas. It's still but I can see through it. So I can see through it, so I know it's clear. So this is going to be good to go for another use, another 8 uses. What I want to do is I'm going to put this down one more time on top of my little wood stock. Make sure it's dry. Pretty dry. And I'm going to go over it with the black ink again, just to bring out his eyes again, because they did get covered up a little bit. So since this is see-through, it's kind of translucent, you can lay it down pretty much exactly where it was. You can see what you've already chalked and line it up really, really good. Let's do this. Let's see. Okay, so I've got it down. I'm going to go ahead and use my black ink again. And I'm just going to go over wood stock again. So these are our squeegees. This is the small one. It's pretty large. I'm just going to go over it one more time, which means I'm going to have to dry it again before I heat set it. That's okay. And I'm also going to have to clean my transfer again. But I think this step kind of refines it. I think I could have gotten away with it this time, but I want to wear this and I want to be proud of it. So I'm going to take this off. Haha, it looks great. Let's dry it up one more time. Do you guys like going to baseball games? Do you like to go just to the kids, like to the YMCA, the sport kid leagues, or do you like to go to the major leagues? Let me know in the comments. We used to go a lot more when I was a kid because we had some major league teams that played in town. Now if we want to see any, we have to go up to Phoenix to see the Diamondbacks play, and that's fun too. But we used to have all these teams that would do spring training here in Tucson, and that was a lot of fun. You get the experience without the crowds. It's great. Almost there, guys. We want to dry it. Okay, it's dry. Okay, so now I'm going to take my ink mat out. I want to make sure my hands are clean. So that I don't transfer any ink onto the shirt where I don't want it to be. Okay, so let's take out the ink mat. Just lift it up and loosen it. And then I'm going to put my heat protectant mat under it. This is just my Cricut mat. And that's going to protect my surface and also give a little cushion to the press. Okay, so heat press is set at 305. I've got it set for 30 seconds. We'll see how that works. I need my parchment paper, so you need parchment paper. Ooh. I guess my parchment paper was in some wet water. Kind of splattered it there. Let's put this tape measure away. So I'm going to put the parchment paper between my finished design and the heat source. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on, press it for 30 seconds, and you can move it if you want to. It's fine. I might want to do it for 60. I'll just kind of assess what it looks like. But once you heat set it, you can toss it in the washer or dryer, wash it. It will be ready to go. It won't chip, fade, crack, peel, any of that stuff. You will be good to go. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on for another 30, and then we'll flip it inside out and do the same thing. Once you go through the work you do on these, although they're quick and easy, guys, you want to make sure it looks good and you can wear it and it won't fade. Whoops, I never started that. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, remove my paper. I've got something on the ground that keeps slipping in. Okay, so then I'm going to take this out and flip it over. And I'm going to heat press the other side for 30 plus seconds. Make sure it's in the fabric. So one way this differs, you know, some of you may have done some experiments or done projects with Cricut vinyl, which I love. I've done a lot of that. But sometimes the vinyl starts to peel if you don't heat press it right. It may crack after I wash my stuff over and over and over again on hot and heavy temperatures. So you may find that that kind of cracks and peels over time, may start to come loose. This doesn't. This is, It's not really in the well, it kind of is in the fabric, but it's not laying on top like a piece of vinyl would. It's more embedded in the fabric. And so it's permanent. Okay, let's flip this out over and see what it looks like. Here's our cutie patootie shirt, guys. What do you think? I think it's going to be great. And it kind of looks patriotic with the red too. You could wear it for a patriotic holiday. That would be wonderful. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. So the tips on this were, you can use any type of fabric. So it's not, sublimation is relying on high polyester. This is not. Ink is not. You can use any fabric. You just put it on. You can paint with it if you want to color in. You just need to heat set it so that it can go in the washer dryer. Once you heat set, it is permanent. So at this point, this is permanent and it will be there forever. I hope you guys enjoy this project. I'm gonna go hit a baseball game. How about you guys? Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to follow my page. And if you know anyone else that loves to craft, please feel free to share it with them. And if you want to be notified when I go live, go ahead and comment !notify, and you'll be notified when I go live again. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your Thursday. Bye.